Hi, it's Greg Burdine, Pastor of Faith Baptist Church, Adrian, Michigan, with a Bible verse for you today. It's Tuesday, and I'm on my way to a pastor's meeting in Taylor. It's always good to get together with other pastors and find out what's been going on, how their summer's been, what they've got planned for the fall. We've got some neat things here planned for the fall. Next Sunday night, we're doing something a little different. We've done a harvest party for a while, just about as long as I can remember. I can still remember having a harvest party behind my house when I used to live on Hunt Road, when I used a little bitty house we sold and built the new parsonage. And so it's been, wow, it's been a long time we've had it. But this is the first year, we've always given away candy. This is the first year we're going to do something called a gospel trunk or treat. Some people call it candy through the Bible. And what it is, we'll have different places like like trunk or treat. But at each place, the person there kind of, if they do, it's okay. If they don't, it's okay. They kind of dress up and decorate like one of the Bible characters or one of the Bible stories. And then they tell their story, and it has a candy related to it. For instance, the first one is we're going to tell the Bible story, and the Bible is sweet. So here's a bit of honey, the candy bar. I think the where Abraham and Sarah and God told them that they were going to have a baby in their old age, and Sarah laughed. We're going to give them Laffy Taffy. And so you see, that's how it goes. Daniel in the lion's den, we're going to give them a Kit Kat bar. So it's kind of going like that. So it's more than just getting candy. It's actually when they eat it, they hopefully they'll remember the story that they heard from it. And so it has a deeper meaning, a better meaning. And we're going to give the gospel story as well. So that's what we've got going Sunday night. So come on out. We're not going to have Sunday night services like as usual, but it's going to be more or less a party. And it's from 6 to 7. Invite people, invite kids. We're going to have lots of candy, lots of games. The bounce houses will be here, so that'll be this Sunday night. Well, I've been looking at some Bible verses, and I've got one for you today that has to do with farming. And actually, this is one that farmers do not practice typically, but this is what God told the nation of Israel to do with their farming practices. And it's in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19. So 19:19. This is what it says. And it's in a newer version, so we can kind of understand it a little bit easier, simpler to understand. Here's what it says. Keep my decrees. This is what God says. Keep my decrees. Do not mate different kinds of animals. Do not plant your field with two kinds of seed. Do not wear clothing woven of two kinds of material. In other words, you weren't supposed to blend things together. Keep everything separate. I can remember, I think it was my dad, when he would plant corn in the garden, he would actually plant corn and beans in the same spot so that the corn would go up and the beans would be on the ground. And I know in a lot of fields, in a garden, you plant different kinds of things. The Jews were not allowed to do that. A field was either beans or corn or whatever wheat. They weren't allowed to mix the seeds anywhere close together. They weren't allowed to wear different kinds of clothes. They weren't allowed to have cotton and wool. In our day and time, they couldn't have a shirt that was silk and pants that were cotton material, jeans. They couldn't wear jeans in synthetic. All their clothing had to be the exact same material, same kind of material. And we don't worry about that. Why did the Jews? And this is one of the reasons why. There's a lot of reasons, maybe to keep them from some of the temptations that were out there. But it was to let them know that there is a difference. There's a difference between some things and other things. And God wanted them to realize there's a difference in you. You're my people, and there should be a separation. Don't mix with other groups. Stay separate. And so, and if you look at it, the Jews still, even though they're some intermarriage, something like that, they still are separate. They're still Jewish. Even if they're American Jews, Russian Jews, German Jews, whatever, they are still known as a separate entity and group of people. And the lesson for us is God wants us to be separate. Don't mix with the world. Make sure you're in the world but not of the world. And so be very careful of mixing in holy and unholy, believer and unbeliever. We need to be witnesses, but don't let them influence us. I remember somebody one time said, a ship is in the boat, a boat is in the water, but when the water gets in the boat, it's in trouble. And you're in a sinful world, but if the sin gets in you, you're in trouble. So that's a good lesson for all of us. Farming techniques change, but God still wants us to be a separate, holy, godly